When news broke that Max Verstappen would decide to take an engine penalty at the Belgian Grand Prix and would have to start at the back of the grid on Sunday's race, many Carlos/Ferrari fans and a good amount of Mercedes fans were licking their chops, thinking this would be the best opportunity for their drivers to snatch a win from Verstappen. But as the race is now gone and past, Verstappen is looking like he's in a league of his own, cruising to yet another dominant victory. But yet again, a victory that is under scrutiny from their rivals, Ferrari, who have now gone on record saying that the RB18 and its latest upgrades may be illegal. So what are these upgrades? How did it help in Red Bull's dominance in Belgium? And why does Ferrari think that these upgrades should be looked at by the FIA? Well, let's talk about it then. But before we do, consider subscribing to the channel so you don't miss out on our latest uploads. Now that's out of the way, let's get started, shall we? Coming into Sunday's race, many fans believed that it would be nearly impossible for Red Bull's Max Verstappen to cut through the field and keep his streak of dominance alive. So much so that even his own father and ex-Formula One driver himself, Jos Verstappen, would say after the race he was up for it today. We did expect to be on the podium. This was a bit different. But as Verstappen has been able to do on multiple occasions this season, once the Dutch driver takes over the lead, it is very unlikely for anybody to take it from him. And once the checkered flag fell in Spa, Verstappen would finish 17 seconds ahead of his teammate Sergio Perez, securing a 1-2 finish for the team. The overwhelming gap to his teammate and the ease with which he was able to cut through the field had many teams talking about whether or not Verstappen's new chassis was a big contributor to his dominance. But before we get to the accusations, why did the Milton Keynes team decide to revise the car's chassis in the first place? Well, if you can remember, Red Bull was notoriously 5 kgs overweight, which has cost the team a considerable amount of lap time. With the biggest of example of this was at the Austrian Grand Prix, where many believed that the RB18's weight issues were the key contributor to their degradation issues during race day. So how did the team achieve this lighter chassis? Well, this was achieved by applying a different construction to the chassis, but not in terms of its design, which reportedly remained the same. But yet it was achieved by studying the cross-ply of the different layers of the carbon fibers that made up the new monocoque, placing the fibers at different angles and orientations while still achieving the same level of stiffness and strength values as the first version could be achieved, but with a reduced thickness in many places, which would, in the end, result in a lighter new chassis. Combining the research efforts and the actual production of the new monocoque, it is clear that this would be a huge financial hit for a team who, quite frankly, should not have enough budget to do so, since they've introduced a new upgrade at almost every race this season. But according to Racing News 365 sources, Red Bull has used half of the extra budget of €4 million the FIA allocated to the teams to counter the recent economic inflation to produce their new monocoque. But with all of that, Red Bull has neither confirmed nor denied that Verstappen used a new monocoque in Sunday's race, and has stood firm that the new update will be put in play at the Singaporean Grand Prix in October. Assuming that Verstappen did not just miraculously widen the gap between him and Sergio Perez, whether this is true or not is arguably irrelevant from Ferrari's standpoint, since the team was way off the pace of both the Red Bull drivers and will have to do something if they still have hopes of winning the title. And as expected, Ferrari's team boss would comment on the likelihood that the RB18 would sport a new monocoque by saying, "We could never afford to develop a kilo lighter chassis, or any chassis, during the season because the budget does not allow it. I would be very surprised if that were possible for other teams. You have to wonder if the control is sufficient. Unfortunately, only a few people at the FIA keep an eye on it. That has to improve in the future. It would be very bad if the championship is decided by the financial rules. And as Binotto is questioning the legality of Red Bull's new, or soon-to-be new, update, Red Bull's team boss, Christian Horner, would poke fun at Mercedes team boss Toto Wolff, who had spearheaded the push for the new technical directive that was put into action at the Belgian Grand Prix. Christian would say, "On the face of it, I'd probably have to thank Toto for the TD. In all seriousness, I think this circuit has played to our strengths," Horner said. "We have a very efficient car, we found a very good setup, and Max has just been in phenomenal form the very first lap in first practice. Obviously, strategically, we chose to take the penalty here, and 14th became 13th, technically as the starting point with everyone else. But of course, Max still had to navigate his way through the pack, and he did that very efficiently over the first couple of laps. So he hit the front far quicker than we could have ever expected, and the soft tire seemed to work for him as well in that stint. Thereafter, the pace we had with Max and Checo was enough that he got past Carlos and brought home one of the most dominant performances that we've had as a team since either 2010 or 2013. A lot was made and a lot of expectation was put on that TD, so perhaps it's hurt others more than it's hurt ourselves," he added. "So we haven't really changed the way we operate the car." Christian would also give praise to Max's performance as he revealed that he too had his doubts on where Max would finish by the end of the race. In Christian's words, "Amazing performance by Max. He wasn't greedy at the start, he was very patient, particularly down at Eau Rouge, and he just picked his way through it. An incredible performance, and he just threaded his way safely through the field. Max, I think, has been exemplary this weekend, and Checo was doing absolutely everything that was asked of him." On the other hand, Red Bull's head of driver development, Helmut Marko, would say that he's come a long way considering the reliability issues the team had faced during the earlier parts of the season. It was unbelievable. For us, the first couple of races, it was just cautious. It's amazing. Max is at the moment, it's the best Max we have, but it's not the end, I believe. We have more coming. We still have to work hard. We have to win at least 3 more races to be really safe in the championship. And as Red Bull are in high spirits, their rivals from last season, Mercedes, are the complete opposite, with team boss Toto Wolff admitting to the media that Verstappen is in a league of his own right now. In Toto's words, "I don't think we can be satisfied with this weekend. If you see Verstappen, he has leapt above us all. We really need to find out how we can improve our car because the gap is just too big," he added. "We're giving the drivers a very difficult car to drive, and it hasn't got the pace on a single lap, so we need to work ourselves out of this situation." And there you have it, guys. So what do you think? Did Red Bull introduce the new monocoque this past Sunday? If so, should the FIA take a look into the team's finances? And what are the chances of Ferrari still catching up to Red Bull? Let us know in the comment section below. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't.